When the glasses are on, the war has begun. I was in the middle of making a video about why Milo deserves the death penalty when this quote-unquote video appeared in my Twitter feed. The Rickhead on Ghostbusters feedback is from notable internet atheist and hate speech spreader, the Rickhead, who has made such intelligent statements as Power Pig was fuckable. Here, he gives his heinous, bile-filled opinion on the new Ghostbusters movie. Now, personally, I saw the movie, and while I found it to just be a bit meh, I'm hoping it makes 12 times its budget, so that we can see more movies with strong female protagonists. You see, it's not about the quality of the movie, no, that doesn't matter. It's about bringing about justice, and telling those fat cats in Hollywood that we deserve change. I decided to do a point-by-point scathing review on the Rickhead's latest video about the positive reviews that the movie Ghostbusters has gotten. And after looking at the video, personally, the Rickhead? More like the dickhead, am I right? That's a bit overdramatic, don't you think?
It seems that the unthinkable has happened, folks. It's an event so shocking that I'm honestly having trouble putting it into words.
Well, what is it? Is it the mass shootings of black teenagers in Baton Rouge and Dallas? Is it Brexit? Is it the underrepresentation of Muslim women in comic books?
I'm just gonna come out and say it. I mean, it's just disgusting. It seems that there's people online who have a different opinion about a movie than I do.
Please, that's not an issue. Having a differing opinion on a movie is not something to have a big fuss about. I mean, a lot of people differed from Anise Sarkeesian and said that they liked Mad Max Fury Road. Granted, those people were wrong, but they had a different opinion, and no one gave a crap.
I don't even know how that's possible. I mean, my tagline is, I say it because you think it. Now, if you think it, how could we possibly ever disagree?
Well, I think your haircut looks like a cross between Jimmy Neutron and Alfalfa, and you're probably trying to hide it by having the video cut it off. I think that, so you probably hate your haircut as well, huh? Your logic is invalid.
And yes, folks, I am talking about the new Ghostbusters, or as I like to call it, the new Holocaust.
That's not even a fair comparison. I haven't seen Paul Feig gas a single Jewish person. He has only soiled the hopes and dreams of beta male nerds like you. Which is okay, because the male nerd community is made up of all misogynists.
Take this review, for example.
So if people notice me wiping at my eye, it's because it hurts.
No. I don't want to hear from her.
Not letting the woman speak her opinion? How progressive. Not.
The feminazis have already decided to like this movie.
Well, your argument is invalid, because Alison Pregler, aka Obscurus Lupa, is not a feminazi. In fact, she's worse, Rush Limbaugh, because she did a review that claimed that What's All the Noise About Boys was a sexist song, when we all know that sexism against men does not exist. More on that later.
I want to talk about this putz.
I thought it was meh.
He called the movie meh, which can only mean one thing. Any review that has not deemed this movie to be the worst thing to happen to humanity since the slave trade.
Alright, I do agree with the Rickhead that slavery was pretty awful. I mean, can you imagine if in modern day Illinois there were just slavers roaming around, being doctors or reviewing Nick Sparks movies? It'd be anarchy.
Has obviously been paid off from parent company Sony.
Are you insinuating that a review that calls the movie meh would be what Sony would want? Would Sony, a company that gave us films like The Amazing Spider-Man and Spectre, really settle for mediocrity?
You see, Sony Pictures has been working hard and using their considerable funds to pay off obscure film critics.
Alright, last time I checked, this Brad Jones guy is actually pretty famous. Not only is he a member of the world-famous Channel Awesome and has almost 75,000 subscribers, but he was also interviewed by Comic Book Girl 19 for a Marvel TV series. Side note, if you're wondering why I was mad at James Rolfe for his video on Ghostbusters and not Comic Book Girl 19's video, well, it's because she's more entitled to an opinion about the new Ghostbusters movie. Because she's a woman.
You see, they wipe clean the true and constructive criticism over their products. And that just leaves the psychopaths. Which means the psychopaths don't actually exist.
If you're talking about the YouTube comments for the Ghostbusters trailer, you're completely wrong. There was never any constructive criticism in the comments. Just a few people who supported it, and millions of sexist scumbags who couldn't accept the fact that the Ghostbusters can also have vaginas.
They pay off these internet reviewer shills to not pick apart a piece of shit movie, but to just call it forgettable. We got all we needed from the trailers, and as history has proven, no movie has ever been better than its trailers.
That's also not true. I actually thought that Dead Man Down was better than its trailer.
That is why we, as God-fearing Americans,
Despite the fact that you're an atheist,
took it upon ourselves to do our duty and downvote this movie before it was even released in our country.
that's definitely true. You don't seem to have a British accent. And when the rating system opened up for Ghostbusters on July 11th, it was only in the UK and Ireland. But you probably gave it a 1 because you're a phony. Hey everyone, laugh at the big fat phony.
Christ, just look at how he's sweating. Why else would he be sweating bullets in a 100-degree car? He's clearly scared that feministy McSteinem next to him is gonna zap him in the balls.
Sounds like a regular Thursday night for me. That's not a joke. My girlfriend actually does that to show dominance. She calls it the Colleen Stan experience.
Thus forcing him to call the movie merely a rental. And then the motherfucker actually suggested that there would be two sides of extreme anger about this film. Can you fucking believe that?
I believe it. There was the side that was angry about this movie, and the side that tried to stop them. So far, we've been unsuccessful.
I say that we prove to him that there are no sides, and we start sending him multiple emails telling him to kill himself.
Okay, that's just outright hate speech, man. I mean, Brad Jones actually made a video about him suffering from depression, and it had a cute cat in it too. You should be ashamed for telling people to tell him to kill himself. Though I might share a bit of that sentiment. More on that later.
It's an open and shut case, folks. The parts of the movie that they claim to have made them laugh, they're not actually in the movie.
Bull crap. The nut shot was in the movie. And it's the funniest part. It's highbrow humor.
And then they go on to actually criticize the movie in detail. That doesn't make any sense, because even calling this movie a rental must mean that the movie is perfect, flawless, and deserving of your hard-earned money.
Jesus, Brad actually got comments like this. I mean, you're taking things out of context, you sleazy dirtbag.
But let's cut to the real heart of the matter. The movie's simply bad because the director had the audacity to be mean to us.
He wasn't mean, he was just calling you out on your bullshit. And I trust the man who gave us Freaks and Geeks, Spy, and Unaccompanied Minors more than I trust you.
Now granted, I didn't see this piece of propaganda because I was too busy watching movies from real directors, with class. Movies like Chinatown.
Oh yeah, avoid a movie from Paul Feig, and support a movie by a well-known pedophile. I'm glad my movement doesn't support pedophiles.
The systematic man-bashing.
Here we go.
The systematic man-bashing in this film does not deserve my or your attention. And yes, I said man-bashing. See, this movie might be titled Ghostbusters, but I call it The Birth of the Nation for the Y chromosome.
How many times do I have to tell you MRA gators that there is no such thing, and there never will be such thing as misandry or man-bashing? Feminist expert Anise Sarkeesian made that point fairly clear in her Twitter. There's no such thing as sexism against men. That's because sexism is prejudice plus power. Men are the dominant gender with power in society. And that is why I don't live in society. I live in reality. In reality, women are far superior to men. And they can give us domestic abuse, or they can bully us, but we can't do the same to them. In fact, after I read that tweet, I drank an entire gallon of bleach to try and rid the world of cis white male scum such as myself. Then I became pansexual and now everything's fine.
Joseph Goebbels would be proud of what Paul Feig has done here.
After a while, the Rickhead just makes a bunch of analogies that are just extreme and don't make any sense.
Do you want to go back to the man-hating days of the Three Stooges, I Spit on Your Grave, or Guinea Pig?
Like, I have no idea what he's talking about. The Three Stooges had a predominantly male cast, unlike the new Ghostbusters movie. And that's why those movies are old.
Of course not, because if you don't scream to the high heavens,
Atheist.
your outrage about a movie that makes men look stupid, then you're not much of a man, are you?
I thought to be a man, you had to be as swift as a coursing river.
This is the worst thing to happen to comedy since white people jokes by black comedians.
Okay, now this guy's just a racist. I mean, he's thinking that black comedians are not better comedians than white people.
Stick with real reviews, like Angry Joe's.
You mean the guy who completely disrespected Anita by saying that no one will take porn away? Yeah, I'll pass.
And I say real reviews because he sees my point of view, which means all other reviews are lying.
Yeah, share your opinion with the guy who was neutral on Gamergate. Dick.
I'm the Rickhead, and I say it because you think it.
So does that mean you're going to say that you're an asshole? Because that's what I think. He's not quite in the wrong for attacking the Brad Jones review of Ghostbusters, though. Jones has the audacity to actually call the people who said that anyone who hates the new Ghostbusters is sexist kinda jerks. How can we be jerks when we're only trying to spread awareness of the changing social climate and the need for more progressive thinking? Despite the fact that he pays more attention to the sexist backlash that the film is receiving, his offhand remark offended me and ruined the entire review. I'm not saying that we should tell him to go kill himself, though. Do something less extreme, like doxing his personal information. This cis male scum is even going so far as to ask for $50,000 to make a movie about the Rickhead called Jesus Bro, and one of the main people behind it is none other than Doug Walker, who viciously attacked Denise Sarkeesian on Facebook back in 2013, as well as allowed the amazing atheist to be a contributor to his site for a number of years. The film is also from the people who brought you films like Paranoia, which is sexist because it features women being murdered, and the Cinema Snob movie, which featured a topless scene from Brad's wife, but the film was released after they divorced. Yeah, that's right. Brad Jones raped Jillian Zarowski. So if you want to support a feminist-hating rapist that aligns himself with a feminist-hating scam artist and his brother Doug, then by all means visit the Indiegogo link in the description, though I doubt any of you are so stupid as to actually support it. Well anyway, I have to get back to my video on Free Milo. I mean, it's not like the Rickhead is going to beat me to it or anything. Then I have to do another video about him.